To live and survive is the ultimate goal of every living things on earth. Different organisms have different ways to survive. Animals and humans use various body parts and their mechanisms to carry out life processes. Body parts and organ systems work together in harmonious relationship to achieve homeostasis or balance in one's body. How do animals use their body parts? Do all animals have the same organ system? Today, we will discuss the general functions of specific organ systems common to all animals. Similarities and differences of the organ systems of representative animals are also discussed. The following are important processes for humans, insects, animals survival. So these include respiration, circulation, excretion, immunity, and of course, digestion. So this moment, we will focus on the process of digestion. I have here one question that can be answered if you continue to listen until the end of the discussion. And also, it may help you to answer your activity sheet, week 5, activity 1 and 2. Okay, so the question is, how do animals digest and get nutrition from their food? So to answer that, let me define the term digestion. According to Sia and Cortez, digestion is the process by which the organisms break down food into forms that their cell may absorb and use. Take note, digestion is the process by which the organisms break down food into forms that their cells may absorb and use. But different animals have different ways on how they digest their food. To discuss the general functions of specific organ systems common to all animals, I have here hydra, grasshopper, earthworm, and human digestive system. Similarities and differences of the organ system of representative animals are likewise presented. Most cnidarians, such as hydra and jellyfish, have a very simple body structure. They have an incomplete or a one-way digestive tract. Digestion and excretion of undigested food occur in their gastrovascular cavity or tract, which has a single opening, as you can see on the picture. Cnidarians use sting cells or nematocytes consisting of toxic chemicals to puncture, paralyze, and entrap their prey. Cells on the lining of this cavity secretes digestive enzymes for extracellular digestion. Some nutritive cells have flagella that moves the food around the cavity, and some have pseudopods that engulf food particles. So that is for the hydra. Next is the digestive system of earthworm. So the digestive tract or the digestive system of an earthworm is a long tube, and it is considered as a complete digestive tract since it has an entry for food, which is the mouth, and an exit for waste, which is the anus. This digestive tube is partitioned into regions. Each have certain functions. An earthworm's digestive system consists of a mouth, pharynx, esophagus, craps, gizzard, intestine, and anus. So let's repeat. The digestive tube is partitioned into regions which have certain functions, and an earthworm digestive system consists of mouth, pharynx, esophagus, crop, gizzard, intestine, and anus. Earthworm eats soil containing organic matter such as decaying plants. As the earthworm burrows into the ground, its mouth ingests the soil with its food, the decaying organic matter. From the mouth, the food moves to the pharynx, esophagus, and then to the crop where it is temporarily stored. Next to the crop is the gizzard, which is made up of thick muscular wall that grinds up the food with the help of the sand or soil ingested along with the food. The rest of the digestion process is continued in the intestine, where chemical digestion and absorption of broken down food happens. Absorption of nutrients is enhanced by the large fold in the upper surface of the intestine that increases the surface area called typhlosul. Soil particles and other undigested food are released from the earthworm's body via the anus. In some insects, like grasshopper or the arthropod, the digestive system is divided into three regions: the foregut, midgut, and hindgut. The foregut consists of the mouth, esophagus, crop, and the gizzard. The grasshopper has specialized mouth parts that is used for tasting, biting, and chewing food. The food then passes through the pharynx and continues to the narrow, thin-walled esophagus, the canal, then enlarged into the crop. Just below the crop lies a pair of salivary glands branching out to the mouth which produce saliva and help in the digestion. The crop opens into a short muscular organ called gizzard or proventriculus. In the gizzard are plates made up of chitin that help in grinding food. The midgut consists of stomach or ventriculus. It is lined by a peritropic membrane which protect the stomach wall from abrasion during the digestion of food. Near the gizzard and the stomach are six pairs of gastric ceca where microbes aid in the digestion of cellulose. These pouch-like structures secrete digestive enzymes in the stomach, aiding in the digestion of food. The last region is the hindgut. Hindgut is lined with cuticle. It includes the coiled intestine parts, which are the anterior ileum, middle colon, and the posterior rectum, which lead to the anus. Connected to the stomach and ileum are numerous long coiled tubules called the Malpighian tubules, which serve as the main excretory organ of the grasshopper. Undigested food and other waste products are excreted via the anus. Next, and the last digestive system is the human digestive system. So the human digestive system has two major roles in the human body system. So this is to break down food into smaller usable food molecules and to absorb the food molecules for further use of the body cells. Fats from food are broken down into glycerol and fatty acids, starch into monosaccharides, protein into amino acids, and nucleic acid into nucleotides. Some vitamins, minerals, and water are directly absorbed without being digested. The human digestive system is also called the gastrointestinal tract. The gastrointestinal tract measures about 30 feet or about 9 meters long. It is made up of involuntary muscles, which move food with the aid of peristaltic movement. The GI tract is consists of the buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, small and large intestines, rectum, and the anus. Tongue and teeth that work together to digest the food mechanically can be found in the mouth or the mucal cavity. It also has the salivary glands, which secrete saliva containing amylase, an enzyme that helps digest the starch or carbohydrate in the food. The partially digested food, or called the bolus, is swallowed and then passes through the pharynx or throat, going to esophagus. No digestion occurs in the esophagus. The bolus proceeds to the stomach where it is mechanically and chemically digested. The stomach is a sac-like organ about twice the size of a clenched fist. It is made up of a strong muscle responsible for the mixing or churning the food. Digestive enzymes and gastric juices is secreted in the stomach to aid in the digestion of bolus. Pepsinogen, an enzyme, and hydrochloric acid are released to break the protein molecules. The acidic environment of the stomach, about pH of 2 to 3, starts the activation of pepsinogen and become the active enzyme pepsin and also kills some germs. Bolus mixed with stomach acid from a soupy mixture. This semi-fluid mixture is called chyme. The stomach wall is protected against erosion from the acid and gastric juices by the peritoneal fluid and mucus secreted by the wall. The stomach is a J-shaped sac which has cardiac sphincter that prevents the backflow of food and the pyloric sphincter to keep the food in the stomach long enough to be digested. The stomach can store as much as 2 liters of chyme. Digestion of food is completed in the small intestine. The small intestine has 3 segments: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. In the duodenum, the intestinal enzymes and the pancreatic amylases hydrolyze the starch and glycogen into maltose. Bile is also released into the small intestine. It is needed to act as emulsifier to further break down fats. Bile is produced in the liver and is stored in the gallbladder. Once the digestion is complete, the tiny finger-like projection in the lower part of the intestine, called the villi, absorb the digested food, as you can see on the picture. Each villus contains capillaries which absorb the vitamins, amino acids, and carbohydrates, and a lymphatic vessel called the lacteal, which absorb the fatty acids and glycerol. Lining the small intestine are epithelial cells, which microscopic cytoplasmic appendages, called microvilli, increase the rate of absorption. Next to the small intestine is the large intestine, which absorbs water and temporarily store undigested food, or the feces, before they are eliminated or excreted through the anus. In the large intestine are some bacteria which aid in the further breakdown of undigested food.